thought that was a repeat.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 19 of the American Craftsman podcast.
19, 1
Wow.
one short of 20.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Not really. We still have anybody listening out there. Time has flown.
Yeah.
It does, I mean, I always say this about everything, but it feels like we've done more than 20, but at the same time, It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
It's weird, right? It could have been 100, it could have been 3.
Yeah.
It's because most of the stuff is just things we talk about all the time anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, every day here is a 8-hour long podcast.
We're just recording it now.
Right.
And we got to watch our language for the most part.
Yeah. We had to take out microphones. Oh, shit.
Yeah, well, it's second week of the new year.
Yeah.
I wonder how everybody's doing. And
yeah, give a shout out to my wife, Allie. Today's her birthday.
Yeah, that's right. It's Allie's birthday.
Happy birthday, babe.
All right. So, introduction.
Want to jump into the beer of the week?
Yeah, why not? Because we're kind of starting a little bit of a new, not quite a tradition, but a new...
trying a new thing. So when I went to the liquor store today, or the beer store, as some of you in those what do they call those counties? Not dry, not a dry county, but like is it a blue county? Like like blue laws,
where they can only get certain things.
Yeah, like where you have to buy beer at a beer store, and liquor at a liquor store, or a state store. We call them liquor stores here. Is that what do you call them in growing up in like New York?
Liquor store.
Yeah.
In Texas, though, they had blue laws.
Yeah.
And I was a kid. I didn't know what it was.
Closed on Sunday, stuff like that.
But we used to have to use batteries for pedals and things like that. And I remember trying to get batteries on a Sunday, and they couldn't sell them.
What? Yeah, those devil's batteries.
I don't know if that's still the case. But in the late 70s in Texas, you couldn't buy batteries on Sunday.
Oh my God. You think you had it bad in 2020?
That's right.
Suck it up.
That's right. That was when they used to they drag you out of your car for having long hair.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we talked about that on one.
And you didn't really complain. And of course, there's so much stuff wrong now, but I mean, it was always bad is the point.
Yeah, oh yeah. So when I went to the liquor store today, they have a whole section of the big 22-ounce bottles or 750 milliliter bottles, and they had some single cans. So I decided to go with a $8 can of beer instead of a 4-pack or a 6-pack, because the fridge is starting to fill up with beer. So
somebody just did a spit take at home when you told them it was $8.
Oh
for
man,
a can of beer.
I've bought beer that's way more expensive than that, like $40 a bottle. So this is the label intrigued me.
Yeah. Look at chocolate, cherries, and cinnamon.
Yeah, so it's got cinnamon sticks and cherries and chocolate pieces and vanilla on there, and it's called Granola Mom's Favorite.
Is either going to be good or
it's by Evil Twin Brewing in New York City, which I'm familiar with the brewery. They're very good. Oh wow. Okay, so already off the bat, throwing me throwing me into left field. Sour India Pale Ale, brewed with milk sugar, sweet and sour cherry, chocolate, cinnamon, and vanilla.
Not for the traditionalist, is what you're telling me.
So that's what $6.99 gets you.
Yeah, we're gonna go Japanese style with the taller beer and sharing of the.
You see the color of the
like a cherry cola.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be... I don't know. I think it's going to be good.
This is nice. It gives it that kind of ceremonial feeling in the glass. Yeah. Wow. It's frothy, man. Look at that. Holy cow.
It does look like cherry Coke. I think I'm going to like this.
All right.
There was probably people cringing if they can see I had the beer can on the planer bed.
Yeah, we break all kinds of those.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Kampai.
Yeah, and cheers to everybody out there. You know, I wonder if everybody else is having a beer while they're listening.
Maybe. Hopefully if you're not at work.
Or driving.
Yeah. Hot damn.
Wow.
No wonder that cost $6.99.
That's really unique.
That doesn't even taste like beer.
It's almost got a cider kind of thing going on.
You ever bought at Trader Joe's the tart cherry juice?
Yeah, yeah.
That's exactly what that tastes like.
Boy, this could be troublesome if you had more than one.
Yeah, that like you could put an ice cube in and drink it. 6.5% alcohol by volume.
Yeah, wow. And what's the brewery again?
Evil Twin.
Evil Twin.
I think Evil Twin, let me look this up. I want to say, remember we had that McKellar beer that was the coffee and the raspberry? I think it's his brother.
Huh.
Or there's some kind of relationship with somebody else. Who is Evil Twin Brewery?
I wonder if they're actually brewing in New York City.
Evil Twin Brewing was started up nomadically in 2010 by, I'm not even going to attempt this, Jeppe Jarny Gerceau.
Sounds French. Yeah, that was pretty good.
JEPPE JARNIT hyphen BJERGSO.
Yeah.
In 2012, him and his family decided to make New York City their home and join the burgeoning local beer scene. So, yeah, forget everything I said. He has nothing to do with McKellar and looks like he's just some guy.
Yeah, and he's clever. He's some
Here we go. No, I was right. McKellar and Evil Twin are two exceptional breweries run by two twin brothers and fueled by a certain antipathy. What do they mean by antipathy?
They don't care.
Relatable. In fact, their relationship is so rocky that when Evil Twins, what? So rocky that when Evil Twins Jeppe set up his own brewery, he decided to cross the Atlantic just to put a few more miles between them.
So where's the other brewery? In Europe?
McKellar, I think, is in California now, but he was kind of like a nomadic guy. Evil Twin, nomadic brewery originating in Denmark. So those are Danish names. Well, we won't inundate you with any more of this silly beer talk.
No, but it's good. It's tasty.
Yeah. Yeah, and imagine if this was like icy cold.
Yeah. I mean, it's cold, but there's no frost on the glass.
I went up to the register and I looked back at the case and I was like, should I grab another one?
Now we know.
Kind of kicking myself now.
Yeah. And, well, before we get off the beer news, we had some Ross last week.
Yeah. They're opening right down the street.
Yep.
So I thought that they were in Red Bank.
I think that's what it said on the label, didn't it? Or Shrewsbury or something like that? Or
I don't remember. I think I was thinking of Red Tank.
Oh.
They're over by Jamian's. So I misspoke. I thought Ross was in Red Bank, and I thought I saw something when I was looking last week about Red Bank, but they're building a new brewery, which is one street north and then down by the water.
Yeah. So it's like a mile or so.
Yeah. So we're on like what we call, in this area, it seems to be unique to this area. We have like what we call wet side and dry side. So Route 36 splits all these towns down the middle. The side near the water is the wet side, and the side on the other side of the highway is the dry side.
Yeah.
So we're on the dry side here. I live on the wet side of Leonardo. They're building the brewery on the wet side of Port Monmouth.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I said, if you guys want to collaborate on anything, you need something made out of wood, let us know.
That could be cool.
Yeah, we'll drink Ross every week if that's what you want to do. It was good beer too. I mean,
that was the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really good last week too.
Yeah.
Completely different than this.
Oh, yeah.
And still.
I was expecting this to be like a stout.
Yeah.
I didn't read the can, really. I just read the front. I looked at the front and read the name. It just had that look with the chocolate and everything.
Yeah, it almost doesn't, like you said, that almost doesn't taste like beer.
Yeah.
All right, so we made it this far. We're going to go right to the tool of the week.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this week is a little bit different. I mean, we still got the tool of the week, but the main part of the tool of the week, and even though we've talked about pencils before, because we are aficionados of the mechanical pencil. That's a good kind
snobs, if you will.
But one of our loyal listeners, Rich M. in Colorado, he gifted us, and I'll show you afterwards this whole kit, I'll call it.
Very cool.
From Pika. And the Pika, they call themselves innovative marking tools.
German company, I believe.
Yeah. And so it's a mechanical pencil of sort, but it's got a really unique shape that it's got a really fat handle and this long, thin barrel that, you can kind of use to get into tight spots. And the thing that is really selling it to me is this plastic holster that it sits in. Now, on my apron, I clip it in right here where I'm have it on my bib, but it's so much tighter on the leather apron that I could pull the pencil in and out.
Yep.
And this is really where it's shining, because with my other pencil, if I don't retract the lead, I break the leads a lot.
Even with the bigger lead?
Yeah. So I got
it's such a fine point.
Right, I got this rote ring, and it's full.
That's a $30 pencil he's holding.
Yes, but it's like a milled aluminum body. And you can, because it's a barrel grip, push the lead in. But if you don't do that every time, when I put it in my pocket, you bend over, whatever, you wind up breaking the point off.
Yeah, I couldn't deal with that.
So it's one of the little things where I'm trying to negotiate my storage solutions to my tool solutions. And this Pika seems to be bridging the gap. Now,
same size lead, right?
Yeah. It's nice thick lead, which I like.
2 millimeter?
Yep. It's got a sharpener built in. And it has the typical where you can send the lead out by clicking on the button on the back.
Yep.
But then if you hold the button, you can send the lead back in.
Yeah. Now the rote ring, if you press it, it'll just fall. It'll just continue to
it's
fall.
the old-fashioned kind.
Yeah, that another thing. I can't do that.
Yeah, it must be because I had all those years in drafting school, and that's what we had. So there might be a bit of nostalgia. So we've had it for almost a week, and it's definitely a keeper for me, where it suits me. Because a lot of times tools are great. But if they don't suit you for one reason or another, they just don't make it into the rotation.
Yeah, they got to fit into the workflow.
Right. So if you're watching, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, this is a nice...
This is such a nice gift. It's two of the pencils that there's the same pencil. Then there's one that's got, colored. This is a magic marker.
It's like a super fine 1.5 millimeter marker with the barrel of the marker is only like 2 millimeters and then steps up a little bit bigger.
Yeah, this is again.
So you can mark holes, like really deep holes,
or dovetail. If you're doing, and then the similar thing with
white permanent marker.
And there's all this lead, like a whole case of regular lead and a whole case of colored lead.
Yeah,
that
what
fits
is there?
The pencils.
Red and yellow.
Yeah.
Red, yellow, and then I think it's another type of like maybe a softer.
Yeah.
A softer
yellow,
graphite.
red. It's all in German. It's hard to read.
I wonder what hardness it is.
Yeah.
H.
Yeah.
I think I use HB.
water. It looks like it's water soluble, multi-use. Yeah. Anyway,
thanks, Mark. I mean,
it was
again always blows us away, the generosity of everyone that.
Yeah, it was so over the top, and on top of that, it's really, really something I'm going to use, every day, all the time now.
Yeah. Yeah, I have mine, same thing, in the top pocket of my my apron. See, I like the way the tip starts out when it's nice and sharp, but I'm like totally neurotic about my lines. So I've been using it for like not marking like measurements and stuff, but for, it's good for writing on the ends of boards, because with a 0.9 millimeter, which is what I use for the most part, when we're labeling lumber on the end grain and stuff, sometimes it's too fine to be able to see. I want to be able to see it across the room, and I don't want to constantly break the tip of my pencil. Yeah. Marking rough lumber is like with a 0.9, it just wants to break. So that's what I'm going to use it for, is all of those labeling and sort of rough marking tests.
Definitely, and that's where the colored lead really shines too, because it stands out as a notation of sorts.
And we're working with all this sapele. Sometimes it's hard to see on sapele, walnut. I mean, we don't use like ebony or anything like that. But
did you want to touch on what we're doing with the sapele? Should we talk about that at all? Or?
Yeah. So we've been working on this project with Soss hinges and with John Peters. I think we may have made some mention of it, or maybe that was on the Patreon.
Yeah, we brought it up, I think, but
I think we talked about it on the Patreon because we weren't sure of what the
protocols.
Yeah. If we were under some NDA, we weren't aware of. So Soss hinges, if you guys don't know, it's a company out in Ohio, and the hinges are made in Singapore, which is, I mean, I think that's pretty unique. Yeah. I can't name another product made in Singapore.
Me either.
Which is, I mean, Singapore is supposed to be a really cool country. So these are all concealed hinges that they make. How would you explain it if you've never seen one?
Well, it's almost like a barrel hinge.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. It has that same sort of stacked kind of
where
hinge
the knuckles
mechanism.
are.
Yeah, so it's able to open and close, and the pieces fit into one another so that you can have a door that doesn't have any visible hinges.
Right.
And it's still able to close all the way.
That was their thing. It was invisible when closed.
Yeah, and they've been around since don't quote me on this, I think the 40s. Yeah. Or maybe even before that.
Yeah, they're a pretty old company comparatively.
Yeah. And I never knew that they were in Ohio. I assumed that it was a company from Singapore just because they're made there. And I don't know, I just didn't think that there was any companies having things manufactured in Singapore.
I mean, we've used Soss hinges on occasion. It's a real specialized product.
I mean, any sort of chest or something like that, we always, that's our first thought, really. Yeah. So they came out with a new hinge. It's called the 518. And the interesting thing about the 518 is you can actually build a door into a wall, and then you can cover the door gaps with casing. So you're able to make a completely hidden door, and it's almost like a crank hinge on a cabinet, or like an inset hinge on a cabinet that it pushes the door away when you open it. So that casing, actually, I mean, it's even different than an inset hinge because that doesn't have anything overlaying. Like a Soss hinge is like an inset hinge, right? But this has a special setup with the leaves on the inside that it swings it away and clears the casing from binding up on the wall. Right.
The way those knuckles are shaped, it pushes it out away from the wall a bit.
Yep.
Almost.
It's like a crank.
Yeah,
crank
like the way we use those stick door hinges for our cabinets.
They have that extra angle.
Right. It has to push the extra thickness of the door out away from the frame so that they don't bind up.
So this is for like, you have a hidden wine cellar or a gun room or a panic room or a sex dungeon.
What was that? Was that Pulp? No, it was Reservoir Dogs. Where he goes back and the guys in the back of the gun shop and the other two guys are there like ball gags and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I haven't seen that movie in so long.
So there's all kinds of uses for this hinge.
So we're building this wall. It's in 3 parts. So we'll have one door that swings in, one door that swings out, one in, one out, and one that is just a panel. So it looks like this wall with baseboard, crown molding, and 3 shadow box panels.
Right. When all the doors are closed, when the 2 doors are closed, all 3 panels look the same.
Right. So then one you'll be able to push, it'll open in, and the other one you'll be able to pull out on the casing and it'll actually open up.
Yeah. And the other thing about this is it's a mobile exhibit that has to break down.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to figure out how to make this thing so that the people who work for Soss can take this to shows, break it down, put it together.
Yeah, so when we're done, and John, I mentioned John, right? John Peters has been in filming. So the whole end game is to have a video that if you buy the 518s, you can watch it and learn how to install them.
Right. Tomorrow, John's going to come by again with his camera, and he's going to film you actually installing the hinges. So it'll be a combination how-to and with the finished product that the folks at Soss can demo.
And then like you were saying, Rob, it'll break down into 3 separate pieces. We'll be able to crate it, and we're going to send it to Ohio to Soss headquarters, and they're going to set it up there, and then potentially take it to things like KBIS, IBS, maybe IWF, stuff like that. Yeah,
because right now, as far as we know, they just have that little 12-inch salesman's model.
Yeah, let me grab it. Maybe I can show it on camera.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you can see that. Did John
So sorry if you're just listening. You're going to have to go to YouTube to see that.
Did John bring us something, or did we see that online? That little...
Yeah, they had it was like a cabinet.
Yeah, so we didn't have that here. We saw
No.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, they have a small like the size of like a wall cabinet.
It looked like.
So we're basically making that but bigger.
Yeah, full size, so you could actually walk through the doors. That's cool. Oh man. So if you guys have any questions about Soss hinges or in general, reach out. We're always here. We're ambassadors, if you will. Yeah, and go over to John's YouTube channel. We have like a little intro video that's already up. And then I'm guessing in a few weeks, the video for this will be up. We're gonna have it pretty much wrapped up this week in terms of fabricating the wall. And so go check it out. All right. Let's bring us to the gripe of the week. Yeah. Petty gripe of the week. They're not all petty, but some are. Yeah, today's is pretty petty. Yeah. I don't even know what it is. I know. I was thinking to myself, we don't want to get too... There's so much seriousness going on, and this began as a joke, really, the idea of it. Yeah. And so the petty gripe of the week, the first petty gripe of the week was the pretzels that the salt doesn't stay on. Yeah, I mean, we were sitting what the hell are we going to talk about on this podcast? What are the segments going to be? And, if you've been listening since the beginning, you see it's kind of evolved into, really, your questions are the meat of the show. Yeah, that's definitely it. Well, my petty gripe of the week is in sizing of pants. Now, I wish there was some universal code, because now we have to get everything online. And so you figure out, oh yeah, I wear a 34, 32. And then you order from somebody new, and you feel like a stuffed sausage when you try and put on those 34. Oh, there's nothing worse. Nothing worse. Yeah. Now, as you get up there in age, that's generally the case. Now, Manny, he's probably never, ever had that problem. No, Manny probably wears a 29. Yeah, that was high school size.
Yeah, no, I think I was a 38 in high school.
Well, you were on the offensive line, so you had.
I was a 40 at one point. I'm a 34 now.
Yeah, so I like to wear my clothes kind of loose, especially at work.
Oh yeah,
that's why I'm wearing my overalls today. But I tell you, why isn't there some standard thing like shoe sizes? They're close.
Yeah,
they're close.
I feel like the width is the big variable there.
Right. But, I mean, why can't everybody get together and decide how to measure? I mean, we have the inch measurement. We figured that part out.
Now, is that the circumference or supposed to be?
Yeah. The waist is supposed to be some kind of,
I guess it depends on where they're measuring the 34. Is it at the waistband of the pant?
Yeah, it should be at the waistband. That's where you got to put that snap on.
Well, that's like when I was a kid, my mom thought, she's like, your pants are supposed to be right below your belly button. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're all popular at school.
Yeah.
With that look.
It's like, I'm a 38 now. Why don't I just wear like a 46?
So, and as everybody who's been listening for the last couple of weeks knows, they're in the wash today, finally.
Oh, your 1620s?
My 1620s.
I got a pair on the way.
Yeah. Now, I ordered those, and actually, I ordered those. I'll wear a 34, but I like to wear like a 36 at work and then wear a belt if they're not going to stay up. That's how I like it. It gives me a little bit more room to bend in the crotch and everything like that. And those fit perfect right out of the box at 36 for me. I really liked the way they felt. And then I washed them one time and they shrunk up a bit and then they expanded back out to their original size. So I'm curious to see how they're going to react after a second washing.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I got 34 29s.
Oh, man.
Because I'm not the tallest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not insanely short, but I'm like 5'8".
Yeah.
But I wear usually 34 30s, but they're just a little bit too long. Like, I just get a little too much bunch up at the bottom.
I usually like to cuff my pants anyway.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I was a little bit nervous, like, oh, it was 29, going to end up too short. Because like you said, you never know. They
have a cool thing. You could send them back.
Yeah.
I mean, who does that?
Yeah. Lifetime warranty.
Yeah.
They're made from, so the fabric comes from North Carolina. I'm not sure if we talked about this already. Fabric comes from North Carolina. They're sewn in Massachusetts. They're buying the fabric from a place that supplies the military with fabric because, really the U.S. government is one of the last consumers that's keeping these American businesses alive because they have to buy. It's written into the law, I guess. I don't know what you would call it, but we have to buy things for the government that are made in the U.S.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was actually talking to, I believe his name's Josh from 1620. He was saying, if they get rid of that law, like it's going to decimate the...
Yeah, they'll never know where to get the material. They probably don't use enough of it to warrant somebody actually milling it up.
Yeah, well, yeah. And aside from the effect on 1620, all these businesses that supply the U.S. government with, things like, even all the work, like we've looked into doing cabinet work for the government because all of that work needs to be sourced from American companies. If they change that law and open it up to offshore, it's going to destroy a lot of businesses.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it's been going, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's my petty gripe. I'm sure there are men out there that can relate. I don't know if we have any women listeners.
I'm not sure.
In fact, we've not had a question of that we've included in the podcast from a woman.
Yeah.
So that leads me to believe either they're a silent silent component of our audience.
Are you trying to say they're a spy?
No. I would love to get a question. If there are any women out there listening, let us know who you are. Send in those questions and let us know you're there.
Yeah. Friends on Instagram with, I forget her name, Natural Carpentry up in Canada. We met her in Vegas at the Fine Home Building event. Super talented carpenter.
Yeah.
The best helper I ever had, or I guess apprentice you want to say, was a woman, Leilani.
Yeah.
She was badass. I mean, she was so smart and fast and put every other dude that worked with me to shame.
We had a woman apprentice here in the shop for a little while. So, yeah, it's definitely not an exclusive club as far as, your requirements.
No.
Just need dedication to the craft.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is going to bring us to the questions of the week.
Yeah. You wanna spill the beans?
Yeah, sure. This first question relates to that, and if you guys have been listening, you might have noticed this is our third straight podcast without Rich, and you've probably seen Rich had an operation on his foot.
Yeah, about 9 weeks ago now.
Yeah, probably
8 weeks ago.
Yeah, so he had an operation. He'd been toying with it. It was definitely a topic of conversation at the Rich house. At least here in the shop it was. I don't know if he talked about it at home. He talked about it here while he was at work. It was his thought of his retiring because, he'd reached a good point in his life. He's looking around. He wants to golf. He wants to travel. And let's face it, this is hard work.
Yeah, I mean, we all have a shelf life.
Yeah.
There's no reason to try and convince yourself that we can all work forever.
That's right. So Rich is he's retired. There's no other way to put it. He's left Jeff and I to our own devices, and we're going to soldier on. So, his first question. It's coming from Kevin McMahon, who's a patron, and he knows because we told the patrons.
Yes.
What
exclusive info?
Yeah. What, if anything, do you anticipate changing as Greene Street Joinery goes from 3 guys to 2? Will having less hands change the type of work you're pursuing? Will having more space in the shop cause you to rethink layout? That's these are all questions that we had to answer, Kevin.
Yeah.
All this and more.
Yeah, and it's all still a Greene kind of idea. I mean, I don't see much changing. I think we're going to be pretty lean and fast and have more room to sort of spread out and try and just bang stuff out. So yeah, I mean, I don't think much is going to change. It's a new year and we have some new goals and stuff, but at the root of it, it's still Greene Street.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the projects, really, we're doing the same type of work I did for the longest time by myself. So where there's a will, there's a way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we're fortunate to have friends, that are in the trades, that are in the community, Manny being one of them, where we'll reach out. Like when we did those confessionals, Manny came in and he laid the rug down.
Yep.
We had another local artisan do all the upholstery for the benches. And so we're cool like that. We want, the more, the merrier in some instances.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of layout, we in the coming weeks we're gonna have a new addition. So
yeah,
we're gonna be jockeying some stuff around.
Yeah, we'll clue you in on that in a week or two.
Yeah.
But so the jobs, same stuff, how we go about it, and that's really not going to change much either. Jeff and I, we could certainly handle all the physical work, and the shop, as you know, is not that big.
No. 805 square feet.
So in some ways, it's probably going to speed things up.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's just not, the shop wasn't equipped to necessarily have 3 people working independently.
Yeah, and it's a difficult workflow to manage.
Right.
To have 3 active tasks that are productive at the same time.
If you're in in a shop that's maybe twice this size, it's got more power and more equipment, then you can divide things up. But we were limited not just by the floor space, but how many machines can we run at the same time and still get good dust collection and all these.
That's a big one.
All these other things. We're not a big, massive place.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing a job that's casework, so plywood boxes with hardwood frames and doors, there's only so much that you can do before something else is done.
That's right.
All the wood has to be milled before you can do any of the hardwood work. So one or two guys could be working on casework while another guy does the milling, but if things don't line up in the same timeline, well, somebody's going to be standing around.
Right.
So I think it'll help in that aspect.
Yeah, even like when we jointed all the material, you were rough cutting it to size, putting it off to the side, and then I was face jointing it right behind you. We had the capacity to do that.
Yeah, then we broke off. Two guys start to plane, and then one guy will edge joint, one guy will rip.
Yeah.
Then we go over to the sander. We sand the edges.
Yeah.
So
it actually worked out really well.
Yeah.
So we could be pretty efficient. I think there's going to be some times where you could have used that third set of hands, but for the most part, I think we're probably going to be a little bit more efficient.
Yeah.
And space in the shop. Yeah. We had a third bench in here, and that's no longer the case.
Yeah, we gave that over to Tom McGuire, who's a local guy, listener to the podcast, one of our patrons. Super nice guy. Went over to his house, dropped it off.
Yeah.
He's got a cool little workshop set up in his garage.
So we had to create some space, and we did. So change is good sometimes. It's going to be good all around. I think, as Rich gets used to the idea of being retired, I can't speak for him, but I think he's going to enjoy that extra time, especially as, the quarantine and things like that end.
Yeah.
It's probably a drag being at home, but, and it feels good here too. It was a good time, New Year and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So, thanks for asking, Kevin.
Yeah, stay tuned. But we got big plans for 2021.
Definitely.
Here's our next question from another guy named Jeff, CT Vader 1977 on Instagram. Jeff wants to know, what is your go-to paint and methodology for paint grade cabinets? Well,
tell him number one.
Our main methodology is to not take on any paint grade jobs.
Yeah, that's number one. And number two.
Yeah. We try and avoid paint every step of the way. It's not any cheaper or easier for us or for the client.
No.
If we're building you a painted cabinet, well, we're using FAS hard maple like we would use for any natural oil finish or stain. So there's no cost savings there. There's actually an increase in price because of the labor. The labor is insane. Yeah,
to put on a really good painted finish, you either have to have like a big spray booth with
a dedicated spray booth.
Not just like let me put up a little tent here and spray. But you have to. That has to be part of your job, description for the most part.
Yeah.
Like at the other shop, that's what they did. They painted stuff. So they had a big swath of the shop dedicated to that, and they had a full-time guy doing that.
Yeah, that's Manny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and every finish there was sprayed.
Yeah.
There were some stains and stuff that went on, but there was always a sprayed top coat.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where if you have a spray booth, you better be spraying everything because you have this giant chunk of your shop that's being taken up by this thing. So you better be using it all the time. Otherwise you're blowing money.
Yeah. We don't like it for environmental reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. There are, the VOC, zero VOC paints and low VOC, which we do use when we paint.
Yeah.
So, about 10 weeks ago, we painted a mantle that we built. and we painted these 6 window grills to match existing window grills that the homeowner couldn't buy.
What a job.
So it was an entire week, right? Or maybe more, maybe 6 days.
Yeah, because, we tend to do things exactly as we can.
So we went out, we bought 4 tarps, we tarped off the floor, and we built 4 walls, with like zip poles up to the ceiling, and set up our little spray booth. We use a Graco Magnum X5. It's a super cheap airless sprayer, and we proceeded to 3-coat prime and 3-coat color. It was 2 primer, 2 color, 3. I forget. I think maybe the grills got 3 coats of primer.
Yeah, because they are window grills.
Yeah, and it was sapele, so it had some grain. We wanted to fill it in. We wanted a nice straight grain and something that would be good against the window with condensation and stuff. So yeah, like 6 days of breathing in paint and cleaning out the sprayer.
Yeah, it's a drag.
It's the worst. Sanding primer.
Yeah.
I have no interest. I'm not a big fan of painted furniture or cabinets.
No,
I do like a mix of stained and painted, like kitchen cabinets.
Yeah.
But we try and do what we like.
Yeah. Also, the cost thing is, a lot of painted stuff began as kind of like an MDF or an inferior wood kind of thing, where it's a lot of putty underneath, fill in the nail holes and the staples, and then put on this really nice high gloss finish. So it's, it's like a candy coating on a turd.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just not how we do things. It's not our business model. So there's just no cost benefit to do a painted thing. And that's why most people, they're surprised when we tell them, we'll build this out of cherry and it'll cost less.
Yeah.
And to build it out of, even if we built it out of poplar and painted it.
Yeah, because cherry and maple are basically the same price.
Yeah, now. Yeah.
The paint is more expensive than the finish that we use.
Yep.
The preparation, with primer and sanding and priming again. And I mean, the whole shop, this is an 800 square foot shop. The whole shop is tied up.
Yeah.
We were spraying parts in this booth that was right in front of where we're sitting. It was 11 by 11, basically, with the door. We have a side door right here with a fan going out. The pieces would get sprayed, brought out, and laid out anywhere where there was space. So the whole shop was tied up. I couldn't even get to my bench for a week.
No.
For 6 days.
Yeah.
So you can imagine what that costs to have 2 guys for
tied
6 days
like that.
Just on the finishing.
That's why we were lucky that we had 2 separate jobs
To get painted at the same time. Yeah.
So we could prime everything the same, because one was white and one was like this sort of, it was in the white family, but it had like a yellowish kind of cream tint,
what was
didn't
it
it?
called? Something linen, fresh linen.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
What the hell was I going to say?
I don't know. We're talking about tying up the shop.
I was going to say with methodology, and I guess, like material fits into that. We start, like when we did some painting, I don't know what it was. Maybe, what was the thing we painted before that?
Was it that bench?
That was milk paint. We were going to paint that door, the door we just installed, which ended up getting stained, because that's a whole nother story that we talked about already. So we got on this Benjamin Moore advanced kick, where we're like, okay, this is a really nice cabinet paint. It lays out nice and flat. It gets a hard finish,
but
it has a 16-hour dry time.
Yeah.
So you're talking 1 coat a day.
Yeah.
And you have to get it done early. Otherwise, you got to come in and wait until the second half of the day. So we went with Benjamin Moore Aura,
right,
which is just a regular latex paint. The Advance is a waterborne alkyd paint, they call it.
Yeah.
And it's a nice paint. But we had issues spraying it because we don't have the best spray setup. We had the wrong tips. Read your data sheets. if you want to talk about methodology, if you're going to spray a paint, I mean, if you're going to paint, get a sprayer because there's really no other way. Go to Benjamin Moore or Sherman Williams or whomever's website and print out the sheet. It'll tell you what size tip to spray with, what PSI you got to have it at, what the temperature range is that you can shoot the paint in, how long it's going to take to dry in what temperature, how long it needs to cure, what how many mils of thickness you should be spraying. So that was like a big learning curve for us. And we did get a pretty good hang of it
by the end.
Yeah. But again, don't have any desire to do any more painting.
No, that's what we all agreed when we finished. You and I said, no more painting,
never
please.
Again. And we know some great painters.
Yeah.
Louis Pasquale.
So that's really our go-to. We'll, like the big kitchen job, paint it in place.
Yeah.
We prep it up, we deliver it sanded, more or less ready to be sprayed with all, if there are any kind of gaps or anything like that, they've been filled.
Yep.
And that's the best result for the client too.
Right. Yeah. We don't masquerade as painters.
No.
We're woodworkers.
Yeah.
So we make the cabinets and then we let a professional painter paint the cabinets.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we had a 10,000 square foot shop with a spray booth, well, I'd invest the time to learn how to paint properly.
And then we'd probably have somebody who did it all the time.
But it doesn't make sense here. We have a very small space. We need to fit into a niche,
right,
where we can, work to our best potential.
That's the way I like to think about it too. We were constantly pushing ourselves and stretching ourselves as, craftsmen, artists, without sounding pretentious, but just in a design sense and trying to build our skill sets and all this other stuff. But we do it within the framework of our shop and our machinery and our tools so that we know what we do. We're not drawn up. We don't have a lathe here. We don't have the space for it. So we're not presenting a lot of designs to one another with all these turn pieces. Parts, yeah. And so that's important to think about as you're, doing original pieces of work. That was a good question. A lot of people take something like that for granted, painting. To get a really good paint job takes a lot of skill, a lot of good equipment, and a lot of time.
Prep.
Yeah.
Pasquale, who's a painter that we've used in the past and just painted the big kitchen job that we put out about, I don't know, it's probably 6 months ago now.
Yeah.
Well, August, I think we delivered. Anyway, Pasquale sprays with a Kremlin on site.
Yeah.
So he's got a mobile Kremlin.
There are more and more guys that are specializing in that.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you go on Facebook, find some guys, he's going to come paint it with a raggedy old brush that keeps in his pickup. But again, that's not really our shtick.
No.
Here's a good one. It's a tough question. There's a lot of it's very open-ended and very undefined. Is there a low-end tool brand you would suggest for the woodworker on a budget? From Beyond the Bench Woodworking on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, so low end, that's kind of one of those things you put in quotes.
Yeah.
Like you say, what are the delineations? I guess we're talking about price point.
And I don't know if we're talking about power tools or hand tools, but I guess we can talk about both. Yeah.
Well, what do you got on the top end? You got the German tools, right? Festool.
Yep. Your Metabo,
and
not
Fine.
Metabo HTC, but Metabo, Muffel.
Right.
Your Fines, and that's like power tools, and then like your Felders and Martin
machinery. Sure. But if you're a beginner, you're probably looking at small
power tools and hand tools, we'll say.
Right. Like, so if you're looking at a biscuit joiner, you're not looking at a Lamello.
No.
You're looking at so then you're talking about what can you find at the box store?
Right. Well, yeah, if I go to Home Depot, what's that middle of the road or lower sort of?
Yeah, yeah. Because a lot of the tools in that that sort of upper, mid-market. The tools you're going to see most like construction contractors with, like they'll commit to one battery platform.
Yeah.
So they're going to have either a truck full of DeWalt or Milwaukee, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So are we going to call those the mid guys, or
I've heard it referred to as prosumer.
prosumer? That's a good way to put it.
So like pro consumer.
Yeah.
And then there's the consumer grade, which would be like your Ryobis and Ridges.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, is there anybody else in like
like the Harbor Freight brand stuff.
that's kind of
Depends on who you ask.
yeah. I mean, we've seen people using those things, and we're not talking about the ones that they tout as like their upper market ones.
Yeah,
I
like
haven't
the
seen
Bauer.
those. Yeah, I haven't really seen those in action.
The guy Lou on the commercial jobs we used to do.
Oh yeah, he
was
used
all
those?
outfitted with Bauer. Yeah.
Oh, what did he think of them?
To be honest, I was never really
didn't
interested
inquire,
in his
did we?
opinion of tools.
Yeah. Yeah, he have that, like it was either 12 or 14-inch chop saw with no blade guard on it.
It was a 12-inch Ryobi with no guard, but it also like usually the saw
Oh yeah, no stop.
it opens up about like 45 degrees from parallel to the floor, I guess. Yeah. This opened up a
Like
full
straight up
90 degrees. So like
with no guard.
it had a full exposed blade, like, and it was always cutting on the floor.
Yeah.
So it was like right at groin height.
And it was accurate.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that was scary.
So if you had to, I mean, we have two tool platforms here outside the Festool.
Yeah.
We've got the Makita stuff because we're dedicated to that battery platform.
Uh-huh.
And for our little drivers, we've got Bosch.
Yep. Yeah, a little 12 volt.
And again, it's that battery platform. It's the shape of that drill and driver, and we have those all over the shop.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a very hard question to answer because I'm not sure what your definition of low end is versus ours, and I mean, instead of saying low end, let's just put a price on things. So like for $100, you can get the 12 volt Bosch drill and impact driver combo with 2 batteries and a charger. I think that's the reconditioned one.
Yeah.
That's what I bought. I
Right.
bought the reconditioned one. CPO outlets on eBay or their website. So if you're looking to save some money, I would look in that direction. Go for reconditioned when you can, because it's a brand new tool.
They'll come with the warranty, same thing.
Yeah, I think the warranty is usually like a little bit less, but I mean, when's the last time you called something in for warranty?
Never.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've had batteries go, and I just happened to think like, oh, is this under warranty? And I checked with Bosch actually, and they were really good. They ended up sending me like 6 batteries somehow because it got lost in the mail and all this. So yeah, I'd say if you're looking to save money and we're talking about power tools, look for reconditioned, something Bosch or Makita. I like. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you pick. They're all pretty similar. Like, in the whole cordless tool thing, maybe Makita's got the best, I'm just throwing things out there, router, and Milwaukee's got the best drill, and DeWalt's got the best circular saw. So whatever you pick, you're going to have good and some of the better ones and some of the worst ones in that platform. So it doesn't really matter what you pick, but just pick one and try and stick to it.
Right. Find a battery platform that you're comfortable with.
Yeah. With hand tools, I mean, I really don't recommend buying low-end hand tools.
No,
you're just
going
gonna
disposable.
Yeah, you're gonna waste money. You're better off saving and buying. You don't need 6 chisels; just get one.
Right.
So spend $55 and get one Lee Nielsen chisel instead of getting, 4 of the plastic handle Buck Bros for $25.
You're gonna get better results. And
less headaches,
especially as a beginner. You need the comfort of the good tool, because you're not going to have to wrestle with something that's not ergonomic or not sharp, won't hold an edge, and you might not know that
if it's you or the tool.
Right. That's sort of my point.
Well, we talk about music a lot because you're a musician.
Yeah.
I'm a music fan. It's kind of weird. I mean, everybody, I feel like most people are fans of music, but
ardent fan of music.
You know, they have like these videos on YouTube where they'll buy the cheapest guitar on Amazon, and then this is a real professional musician, somebody that is a guitar virtuoso. They cannot play a song that sounds good on this thing because it's not a real guitar.
No, it's not set up. It's gonna buzz. It's gonna clink.
They're trying to tune the guitar, and the neck is literally cracking from the tension of the strings. So you're not gonna get a shaving off of a bench plane from the Home Depot.
No,
you might be able to mess around with it, sharpen it, maybe flatten the sole, this and that. Matt Estelia, I think how you say his name, is an English guy on YouTube and Instagram. He bought an Amazon Basics plane and did this whole, I haven't watched it yet, but did this whole video about, polishing up the sole and sharpening the blade and all this. It's not worth the time and headache.
It's not. Unless, your specific hobby is trying to make the best out of something inexpensive that it could be. If you're interested in working.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to do woodwork, you don't want to be fixing up cheap tools. You want to just do woodworking.
Right. There's so many reasons to buy a better tool. Mm-hmm. The value is there.
Yeah.
Because you're buying a lifetime tool.
Yeah.
When you buy something that's made by, Lee Nielsen.
And hey, you want to give up woodworking? You could sell it.
Right.
You can't sell a cheap tool.
No. Holds its value. Just go look on eBay, and at the prices.
Here's how you know Lee Nielsen is a good tool. You go on eBay, search Lee Nielsen.
What'll come up?
Let's say you get 50 results, and that's not an overstatement. It may be that few.
Yeah.
Half of them are boxes, empty Lee Nielsen boxes.
Yeah.
The other 25 are Lee Nielsen tools, and they're maybe 20% less than retail, and they're used.
Yeah.
I mean, they're worth every single penny plus more.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's Jeff made the best point. You don't need 4 Buck Brothers. Get one good chisel.
Yeah.
And you master it, and maybe next year you get a second chisel. That's how we did it. I mean, we have tons of tools now, but you're looking at lifetimes of expenditure and saving and scrimping, and it's Christmas, let me get this bench brush or something like that. So
and we all make choices.
that's right. We don't go out to eat, do we, Jeff?
A lot of people say, I can't afford a Lee Nielsen.
When was the last time we went out to eat?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know the last time we got takeout at my house.
Yeah. So there you go.
If you want to buy a Lee Nielsen plane, you can afford it. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean to say that to sound, disparaging. There are people legitimately out there that can't afford it. But for the most part, most of us could put our nose to the grindstone and shell out $350 over the course. If it takes you 6 months or a year to save.
Something else up.
Yeah, if you want it that bad, you save $30 a month. At the end of the year, you got a new plane.
That's it.
Instead of buying a $30 plane or a $100 plane, and then it's not good and it's going to be garbage.
Right. Stop buying coffees out.
Yeah. Don't quit drinking for a month.
We've all got little habits that we don't realize are secret expenses.
Yeah.
And that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Dump your Netflix. There's $10 a month.
Right.
Or 15 now, I think.
I think it's close to 15.
Don't go out to the bar for the game and drink, beer on tap. That's $5, $8 a glass.
We make our lunches every day. We eat, at home.
Yeah, I make my coffee. I bring it here. I don't stop for a coffee.
But we have nice tools.
That's right. And when I come to work, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I said to you this morning, we're going to talk about this on the Patreon, but what did I say?
It was that quote.
Yeah. Let me see exactly what I said because I thought it was funny.
yeah. When you mean this morning?
Yeah, with the
spit take.
Oh,
yeah.
Moral of the story: if you ain't got it in you, stay the fuck home.
That's it.
So we'll talk about that on the Patreon. I sent Rob a quote from a book I'm reading.
I almost spit my coffee out. I was laughing so hard. So. If you're looking for like a small drill that kind of thing, we would probably suggest going that mid route. Look for a sale.
Yeah. Again, like the Ryobi is going to be like a Buck Bros. You're not going to have as good of a time or as easy of a time or get the same results as you are from something just a little bit better.
And the little dirty secret of those tools is. The box stores will go to the manufacturer and say, "This is our price point here. Yep. Let's say it's $99. You do what you have to do on the inside of this tool to make this a $99 shelf item."
Yep.
That means if there's a gear that used to be metal and
make it plastic,
that's it. That's the dirty little secret to those things.
Yeah, and there's actually, if you look at go to Home Depot and look at the model numbers on the power tools, you'll see differences in those numbers versus like you go to their website and they'll have a list of all the Makita has the grinders and they have the XS 109 and the 102 or whatever. These companies make specific models for the stores that have different interior components. The tape measures at Home Depot suck.
Yeah.
It's a different tape measure.
And it doesn't stop with the tools, like things like Delta. I don't know if it's Delta specifically, but like a kitchen faucet.
Yeah.
All the internals, all that stuff.
Instead of being brass, it's
yeah. Because we had this failure with our kitchen faucet, like it kept failing 2 and 3 times, and I had to keep taking it in, taking it out, and it was. So I talked to somebody at Kohler in Chicago because I got so fed up. I finally got through to the headquarters there, and that's what they told me. And they literally sent me one from their company so that it wouldn't happen again. Like, no, Jeez. Don't go back to the store and get one.
Just another reason to support a small business.
Yeah.
We have Ferguson, and these aren't even. See, the definition for small business is pretty. It's like like 25, 20.
I think it's less than 50 people.
No, it's big. It's more than that.
It's more than. Oh my God!
I was going to say 2,500.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Because we're a micro business.
Yeah, 2. And no employees. So, we have Ferguson, which I think is nationwide. Mm-hmm. Atlantic Plumbing Supply, General Plumbing Supply, places like that. Even your local hardware store has some of that stuff. You're going to get a better product a lot of times just going there because it's not custom made junk that they sell at Home Depot and Lowe's and Menards and places like that.
Yeah, one of the reasons it's more expensive is because they're typically buying it for about the price that, the big boxes are selling it for. They're not making a lot of money on those things.
Yeah, and I know like Rigid and stuff like that and Ryobi because, listen, don't kid yourself. It's the same company, Rigid and Ryobi. Home Depot gets that stuff on consignment.
Wow.
So they don't pay for it until they sell it.
The plot thickens, doesn't it?
Yeah. We've talked about it before. The bathroom vanity that gets made in China by some poor sap who's making no money. They're sleeping in bunk beds in the factory with 6 other people. And they live hundreds of miles away from their family. Mm-hmm. They build a vanity, it gets put on a boat, gets shipped over to the West Coast, or it gets put on a truck and gets driven over to Germany or something, gets put on a boat. Then it ends up in Port Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. Then it gets put on a truck and it goes to the Home Depot in Pennsylvania. And then it sits on a shelf. Somebody puts it there. And then they sell it for $200. And they still made a profit. Everybody down the line made a profit.
Yeah. And they're, the people who own that company, they're doing quite well.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly. We'll just say that they're not being affected by the coronavirus pandemic like a lot of us are.
That's right. So beyond the bench woodworking, save up and get the best you can.
Yeah. Yeah, and shoot me a message with, if you have a more specific question about something specific.
Yeah, we would definitely try and steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, keep an eye out on like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, stuff like that, because you can see right behind Rob that's a hinge boring machine, and our buddy Alec Woodworks.
I think it was
Woodco. Alec gave us a heads up about that. Popped up on Facebook, $300.
Yeah,
we're talking thousands of dollars.
Yeah, because sometimes
we went
they're
and
just sitting around.
That up and
we didn't even get out of our pajamas before we were like, come on, let's get down there before somebody buys that thing.
Yeah, if anyone out, it's a Red Baron. It's called. If anyone out there by any chance knows somebody with a 7-spindle Red Baron line boring attachment,
we
let
want
us
it.
know. We'd like to buy it.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next question.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Very topical. What joiner do you suggest for a hobbyist? And do you suggest straight knives or helical? That's from Kip Gillette on Instagram.
Well, to answer the second part first, don't waste your time with straight knives.
Yeah, we've had them for a long, long time, and we'll never, ever go back.
Yeah, this, obviously a close parallel to the previous question in terms of just ponying up the cash for something that's a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Not even a little bit better. Ponying up a little bit of cash for something that's much better.
Yeah.
It's always going to pay to get the better thing.
Yeah,
we don't suggest getting a 4-inch desk benchtop joiner. No. Not really good for anything unless you're making birdhouses, and then at that point,
and if you never want to make anything else,
and if you're gonna do that, just join it on your table saw, because really, and a hand plane, because you don't need a joiner. Just make a jig on your table saw. So this is what we would suggest. We have an Oliver joiner. Oliver is a really old company. They've been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
They were making machines in the U.S. up until 1999, and now they have very good factories in Taiwan, which is where Powermatic and SawStop and the high-end Grizzlies, Lagunas, everything. Taiwan is where the good machines are made. There's no more machines made in the U.S. The joiner that we have, it's set. The only thing we ever do to it is turn it on. You turn it on and you joint the board and you turn it off. It doesn't get touched. It doesn't get moved. It's never out of alignment. It never takes a bite that's too big or too small.
And how old is that machine now?
Well, when did you buy it? 2002?
About 2004, I think. Mm-hmm. So it's 16 going on 17 years of constant service, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
We put the helical head on it ourselves.
Yep. Yeah, that was about a year ago.
Yeah.
So we bought from, I always forget, Bird is the company, right? Bird, Sheelix head. I think it was about $600.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a staple of the shop. It's really every job begins, aside from the chop saw, begins at the joiner.
Right.
And it could really set the tone of a job.
Because we have to flatten and square up so much wood. I mean, it all comes in rough, first off.
Yeah.
And then all the panels we glue up. Mm-hmm. We never have to think about trying to get to parallel edges.
No.
For the glue. I mean, you do the joining, you put them in the parallel clamps, and you just pull it tight.
Yeah, I was talking to, I forget who I was talking to. I made the little video about the push blocks. Mm-hmm. And I was saying, some days I might joint 200 board feet of wood.
No power feeder.
Yeah, I mean, some guys don't joint 200 board feet in their whole year. Or more than 1 year. I mean, it's really a pillar of the shop.
Cast iron base.
Yep.
I mean, it's
got the 7-foot bed.
Yeah, that's why I bought it. I mean, in its class, it's 10 inches. It had the longest bed. And that's really, for folks that don't do a lot of jointing, that's one of the hidden secrets of being able to do a lot of work on it. You want the longest bed you could find.
Yep. Yeah, and there's not a lot of joiners with a longer bed than that.
No.
I mean, some of the older ones do, but there's only a handful of newer joiners with a longer bed.
Yeah, you got to step up to a much wider.
Yeah, they have a 16-inch, which would be.
We have a little tool lust there.
Yeah, yeah. So this is what we suggest. Definitely check out Oliver, because I think that they're the most unknown, highest value machine manufacturer that there is.
Oh yeah, we agree on that, and we're including Grizzly in that.
Yeah,
we have a Grizzly band, so and Grizzly makes so many machines. If you know what you're looking for, there's some really strong value in their better machines, great prices, and they always have parts and things like that available. Even compared to Grizzly, it's pretty remarkable what Oliver's doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's really insane. The features that you get for the money, like you can get the base machine from Grizzly it's actually a higher cost. Mm-hmm. You'll get a machine from Oliver at a lower cost, and it has more features.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were looking on the website. I don't know what sort of size you're looking for, but they have the 4235, which is the 8-inch, comes with a helical cutter head, 2 horsepower, 72-inch bed, so it's a nice 6-foot bed. Comes with a V-belt, so you're going to get less vibration. Mm-hmm. You're going to get more purchase sort of from the motor to the head. Yeah, and it has an integrated mobile base. Now, it's only $2,100.
Yeah, yeah. Now, for us, because, we buy machines and tools, and this is our livelihood, so that doesn't sound like a lot of money to us,
right.
$2,100.
I mean, we'll spend that. That's 3 Sanders.
Right. So I don't know what would you look at so if you're considering yourself a hobbyist, you might be looking at some sort of benchtop 4-inch joiner, and what's something like that going to cost, Jeff? $500 or $600?
Do they even make them?
I think they do, but I mean, it's not a like a machine that we would recommend. I'm just thinking,
I mean, I would buy a power planer and rig something up before I.
But if you're uninitiated, let's say you're looking at it and you're just comparing some numbers on the page. Well, this is 4 inches, so maybe that's enough, and it's only $600. It is what I would say. That's definitely something you're going to outgrow. And as soon as you figure out how to use it, you'll realize that it's a piece of junk.
Yeah.
You won't know it at the beginning because you're learning those skills.
It's like the guitar.
Exactly. I like the idea of the 8-inch because that's something that you can grow into as well.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that you can't do with a good 8-inch joiner.
Yeah, the only limitation there is going to be, if you want to glue things up, everything's going to have to be made of boards that are 8 inches wide or less.
Right.
With a 10-inch joiner, you get a little more there, but I mean, it's not a crazy difference.
No.
And if you're buying rough lumber, most of what you get is going to be 8 inches or less.
That's going to do it. The helical head,
indispensable.
It's easier to use, especially with the good grip blocks.
Mm-hmm. And you get 4 times the life out of it.
Yeah.
It's probably even more than that because I think they wear a little bit slower than the straight knives because of the helical shape. I feel like they probably build up less heat.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. It's just my hypothesis.
We've gotten a lot of use out of these. We're just about ready to turn them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, really, it's still joining nice.
Yeah.
But you can turn those teeth 3 times. You get 4 sides, and then you just buy new ones.
Yeah. And then the mobile base, that's $200-$300 depending on the size of the machine.
Yeah, and it's built into this 8-inch. So if you're a hobbyist and let's say you work in your garage and you need to keep an area clear to pull the car in, well, it's nice because you can just push it against the wall, and then if you need, you can pull it out.
Yeah. So I mean that's our clear choice. If we were say recommend something, we don't have any hesitation recommending that. We have the bigger brother of that machine here.
Right.
So it's we spent our own money on that machine.
Yeah, it's got the parallelogram.
We spent our own money on the Helix head.
Yeah.
So
It's a real cast iron tool.
We're not hucksters.
No. And then had here, if 8 inch is too big, which, I'd really think on that. Because like Rob said, you're going to outgrow this quick if you start doing a lot of woodworking. They have the 6-inch joiner, which same thing, has a helical head. It's only 1 horsepower versus the 2. No mobile base, but that's only $1,500.
Yeah. The upgrades to go from the 6 to the 8 inch are
$600. It's nothing
significant. Yeah. Just the ability to move the machine around.
Yeah.
I mean, go on Grizzly's site and measure the base of a joiner and find a good stand there. You'll see how much they cost.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've been doing some looking at a tool, and we went, we looked through the whole Grizzly catalog, and we always have Oliver on our mind because we love the joiner, and we'd like to get some more Oliver in the shop. And the differences between the tools for the money is insane. The Oliver is a more affordable tool, and it's better.
Yeah.
It has more features.
We were shocked, actually.
They have on their planers, they come with the Wixie digital readout, helical cutter head standard. They don't even have straight knives.
No.
They were the first company to put a helical head into a planer.
Yeah. It's good. We like them. They're out on the West Coast.
Yeah, in Kent, Washington. They were based out of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
And just like with the 1620 pants and the Calavera aprons, we're always mentioning these things because we think it's important to build this type of community because we want to spread the word. These are companies that we deal with.
Yeah.
And we want to promote them in the honest sense of the word.
Yeah.
Because
it gets our stamp of approval.
Yeah. It's something we use. We spent our own money on it.
Yeah, I'd say give him a call, Kip. Reach out to Oliver, chat him up.
Yeah.
Tell him what you're looking for.
Tell him we sent you.
Yeah.
For what that'll get you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Greene Street sent me. Who?
No, we love those guys. Yeah, and they'll be able to tell you even more and give you more specific information about what their machines can do for you in terms of what you're looking for specifically. So, and yeah, reach out to us if you have any more questions.
Yeah.
Or, opinions on the 4240.
Yes. It's amazingly similar responses. It's save your money, go without something else, and get the best tool machine that's within reason of your budget.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, next question. You want to read it, Jeff?
Yeah, this is from Derek in Cleveland. He's dmelenda42 on Instagram. If you were to get just one Festool sander, which would you get? I have a CT15 for my Domino, but can't decide if the Rotex is worth the extra money or if I should get the 150 size over the 125. What do you think?
Go Browns.
Yeah, I don't watch football, but I heard about that.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, what, 16, 17 years?
Yeah, I think
since the last playoff?
It was in the 90s,
94, I think. Yeah.
So that's 20-something years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I was thinking 2004.
Yeah, man, that time does fly, doesn't it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they gave Pittsburgh a beatdown.
Yeah.
Sorry, if there's any listener in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, yins out there.
So let's get back to the question.
As they say in Pittsburgh, the Stillers.
The Stillers, yeah. So let's answer the first part of that question. Is the Rotex worth the extra money?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got one. We don't have the 6-inch anymore. That one finally gave up the ghost after that one had been in service for 20 years.
Yeah, that was a ETS 150.
Yeah.
/3.
And so we got a handful of the 125s.
Yeah, we have 2 or 3 now.
Yeah. So I agree. The Rotex is without question worth the extra money. Why would you say it is? What's your...
we've got a ruckus going on outside. I don't know what that is. A squirrel got into a garbage can, I think.
Yeah.
What I like about the Rotex is it has the 2 modes. So it has the orbital, random orbit mode, and the direct drive mode. So you get basically 2 sanders in one, where you can do a heavy material removal with a low grit, and then you get basically a finish sand on the higher grit.
Yeah.
We don't go super crazy with the sanding. I'm like a 320 tops.
Yeah.
We're not doing like the 600, the 1,000 wet,
No.
because we use oil finishes. If
Yeah.
you're using, lacquers and stuff like that, where you need to have a very high, where you wet sand at the end, that's not our deal. So for what we do, the Rotex is perfect. I really don't pick up the other sanders anymore.
No, nobody does. In fact, we almost went to like a 1 sander shop. We had 6 sanders.
Yeah.
When we got the Rotex, and it's everybody's favorite sander.
Yeah. We have the 150, the 6-inch Rotex.
Yeah. If you could think of anything that's on the negative side when we compare it to the other sanders, what would you say about the Rotex?
It's just bigger. It's not as it's not really a one-handed sander.
No.
You can, but
It'll wear you out.
yeah, like, if you're sanding, like you have like a cabinet door or something sitting on the bench, you want to sand the top edge, you really got to grip it.
You got to hang on.
Yeah, because it's heavy and it's got a big top. So like I don't have giant hands, so it's not that easy for me to grip, and I can only sand like that and sand accurately for a little while. So that's really the only downside I see.
And it's long too.
Yeah, it's like almost like a barrel grip jigsaw. Like it has that long barrel that comes off the back.
So it's big and it's heavy, and takes 2 hands for the most part to use comfortably.
Yeah, like for me, it's kind of like left hand is steering and right hand is just keeping the back from tipping down.
Yeah. But if we could only have one, I'm pretty sure we agree that would be the one.
Yeah, if we could have one sander in the whole shop, I think I might say the 125 Rotex.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the 6 is good for big stuff, but not good for small stuff.
Not.
And the 125 is good for small stuff, but the only downside to the big stuff is you're just not covering as much area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I loved that 6-inch, the 150. I mean, it was my first Festool sander, so
that was a 2-hander too.
Yeah, there was
they still make that.
Some attachment to it, but I liked that sander a lot.
Yeah.
I felt the way my hand fit on it.
It's a little too high.
Yeah,
like top heavy for me.
Yeah. Because they make that sort of low boy version of it now. The
new ETS. Yeah.
But you know the one that I want next,
the Delta sander.
Yeah. I really want that one. What's the second part? So we agree it's worth the extra money.
Yeah.
And I guess that's all he really wanted to know, if we could recommend it over the others.
Yeah, the 150 or the 125, just, you got to look at what you're making, and if it's mostly big stuff, go with the bigger one. If it's mostly small stuff, go with the smaller one.
Yeah, and stock removal, depends on like how closely you're milling your parts and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
like if you're building countertops, go with the 6-inch.
Yeah.
But if you're building
little pieces of furniture.
Yeah, like if you're sanding face frames and doors, then you don't need the 6-inch.
The 5-inch is really great for one-handed operation, like in different planes, like holding it on a vertical surface. Yep. So they all have their pluses.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So
yeah, thanks. Good question.
All right, let's move on. We got this next question's from David Murphy. He's also one of our patrons. What are your opinions on finishing, sanding and finishing, areas of the project that will never be seen by the customer? Do you do it as a nod to craftsmanship?
Well, this is a subject that I kind of struggle with, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Somebody's calling you. Bit of a perfectionist. Better take that call. We'll pause it.
Hello?
All right, we're back. I was saying I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so even the areas that aren't seen, like I have a hard time stopping and not making them look as good as the finished surfaces.
I'll tell you something. Let me interrupt you. We measure out where the screws go.
Yeah. Yeah, so the screw layout on the backs of cabinets and stuff is like laid out.
So that's all you need to know.
Yeah. But we're doing more reading and stuff. Even on the very, very, very fine furniture, we're talking about the stuff that the guy that owned the entire town back 300 years ago had. Yeah. The backs of the cabinets and stuff might have been rough sawn.
Yeah.
So speaking on tradition, it's not necessarily the thing to do. So I'm trying to find a middle ground there where I can be happy with. Here's the thing. The clients don't know that.
No.
That's only something that you know if you read about antique woodwork. So the clients don't know that. And my fear is that somebody opens up a cabinet and feels something or sees something, and then they might have a diminished view of the piece. So I'm pretty anal about it, and we'll see where I end up as the years go on.
Yeah. I can pretty much mirror those sentiments. A lot of that stuff, secondary woods, Yankee thrift is I mean, part of that is built into this story where they would use poplar for the drawer boxes, and it's why you have pine floors upstairs with the oak floors downstairs in the old houses. So as far as tradition goes, they weren't fools. They did what they could, and things took so much longer back then.
Oh, yeah.
So they really wanted to save some time.
Mm-hmm.
We sand and finish things like, all the hardwood surfaces, even if you're not going to see it, just because it has to be, finished on both sides, whether you see it or not. Like a top, we don't sand it to the same degree, but if, we have to sand it a little bit so that it's smooth enough.
Yeah, like the underside of like a hardwood top. I'm not going to leave glue.
No.
But if there's like a little bit of wane,
right,
or a little bit of misalignment between edge glues, that's not a big
tool
deal.
marks, things like that. We don't go crazy about that on the bottoms of, especially when you don't see it at all.
Yeah,
like
I'm reading the Anarchist design book right now, and he talks about using the jack plane on the scrub plane on the bottom of things, like bottoms of chairs and stuff. And that's how they used to do it. You would feel the undulations on the bottom of the chair, and the top was done with the smoother, and it was smooth.
Yeah.
So you got to find that middle ground.
Yeah. We definitely do a lot more than we need to. Need being in quotation marks.
Yeah, like then we could get away with, you could say.
Yeah, just because it's just we enjoy it. That's part of it. We enjoy doing that, knowing we put everything into it, even if it's a little bit overbuilt. It doesn't really take that much more time because we're only talking about a few little parts of a project, not the whole job.
Yeah.
Because they see most of the piece, and so it's more of a nod to ourselves, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we like it. All right. So
thanks, David.
Yeah, that was the last question.
Yeah.
Wow. And we bust the table during that interim. That was a business call we had to take.
Yeah, that was a client calling in some feedback on a piece we're designing.
Yeah. And they're out in Pennsylvania, so
yeah, we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
It's long distance.
Yeah,
so.
Long distance relationship.
And we like to listen. We're always responsive to people we're working with, and that's how we like it.
Yeah.
So our thoughts on the beer of the week. That goes to me first. We only had like a good half a beer, which it just was not enough.
I know.
It was not enough.
I know.
It was so good. It really was.
That might take the cake for my favorite out of all the beers.
Yeah.
It was, I mean...
It's so distinctive.
Yeah. It was like tart cherry juice. I didn't get the cinnamon or vanilla really.
No.
Maybe a little bit. But I don't think it had enough, like, as these beers warm up, like wine or cheese, anything, the flavors come out more.
Yeah.
But we drank them down so quick that... I mean, refreshing.
Yeah, it was good.
Juicy,
It was just good.
Yeah, man, that was $6.99 is a deal.
Yeah. You think Rich would have liked it?
I don't see how anyone could not like that, unless
Yeah.
you don't like cherries.
Yeah, because Rich is the Coors Light king.
Yeah,
He doesn't really step outside that box.
no.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, so check that out. Evil Twin, Granola Mom's favorite.
I don't know. That's a crazy name. Granola Mom's favorite?
Yeah.
Wow.
From Evil Twin Brewing.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you, Evil Twin.
Yeah. Doing some cool stuff over there.
Oh, as always, the tool of the week is in the description and on the website, right? We got the Pika pencil.
Yep. Yeah, we'll have that kit that comes with the 2 pencils, the marker, the pen, the lead, and I'll put one up for just the pencil too if anybody's interested.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, in the description and on our website's a link to the Amazon storefront. So we have all kinds of tools that we use in there every day. Everything on there is stuff that we actually use. So check it out. Yeah, see if there's anything there that you haven't heard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we like to, we're just we're fans of all this stuff. So spreading the gospel.
Yeah. If you don't know, the podcast is on Instagram, is on YouTube as well. And we've been putting out more YouTube videos.
That's right.
So hoping to do 1 or 2 a week. Mm-hmm. Aside from the podcast goes up every Thursday morning or Wednesday night.
Yeah.
We shot a little tip video today.
Okay, yeah.
Got some other tips up there, some how-to kind of stuff, how to build a shaker door, how to make molding on the table saw. So check those out. Give us a subscribe on YouTube.
If there's something that they specifically want to see.
Yeah.
Because we're doing stuff that we like or that's worked into a job.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way for us to do it because, it takes so much time to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when John was here yesterday, it was...
what we get done.
He was only here for about 2 hours, but all we really did was cut out the one door with the track saw, and it took the whole 2 hours. It's a lot of work filming stuff. Even just setting up the stuff for the podcast. So obviously you can't see the camera because that's what's filming us, but behind the camera is a computer. We have a mixing board. We've got all the cables running over there. 4K capture card, although this isn't shot in 4K. The audio going from the mixer to the computer, and all. It's a lot of stuff to set up.
Our desk.
We got to bring in this table, our little sign here, which it'd be nice if we had that in wood.
Yeah.
We have I don't know if
sound
you can see it.
battens.
Yeah, these are little sound attenuation panels, and so it takes time.
Yeah, but we love doing it. That's why we do it.
Yep.
I got up this morning going, all right, it's Wednesday,
podcast day.
Yeah. So,
as always, we want to thank all of our patrons.
Yeah.
And specifically, we want to thank our gold tier patrons. David Murphy, thanks for the question, Dave. Manny Sirianni, our good friend Eric, Dustin Fayer, and Adam Pothast.
Fair like mayor.
Mayor. Fayor like mayor.
Because in parentheses it says Fayor like mayor.
Yeah.
But we went over this.
That's what, I had to ask him. I said, Dustin, you got to tell me how you say your name. I don't want to butcher it.
I would say Dustin Fair.
Fair. That's probably how I would pronounce it. Fayer. Yeah. Dustin Fayer from Alone on History Channel. Super
all right.
Cool. if you want to see the after show, find us on Patreon, Greene Street Joinery. We're going to sit down here as soon as we cut this. We're going to do another half hour, 45 minits or so.
Yeah.
Talk about some
great topic.
Yeah, we go a little sidetrack, uncut, raw. We'll let it fly.
Like a good ceviche.
Yeah. But we'll see you next week for episode 20.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Wow, 2-0.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so
Thanks,
much, everybody. Be well out there.
See you next week.